PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster who's recording from his car, not a spaceship, but I guess, I wonder how much, the difference between a cockpit and a driver's seat is, it's not very, I'm sure that some cars call their driver's seats cockpits. I wonder if there's ever, this is, there's the stories, but don't let it. What about a cockatiel in a cockpit? Has there ever been a pilot? I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't be on a commercial airline that has a pet cockatiel, or just a book, the cockatiel. I'll have to do that as an episode. Please remind me of this, because right now I'm in my car recording. But I was just thinking, if my car is the same size as the M1. I don't even know. I think the M1s might be even smaller, right? Because because Baby Oso has it's like a one-seater, like not even a two-seater, because Oso's in the Mandalorian's lap. So anyway, just thinking about is it the M1 or the N1? Also don't know that. That's the Mandalorian's new ship this season. And you know what? I'm about to take off on a journey to dreamland. Welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company as you fall asleep, because you deserve a good night's sleep, and because myself and a lot of other listeners have been there in the deep, dark night, tossing, turning, mind racing. Structurally, what to expect. We've got support. That's how the show comes out twice a week for free. Then we've got a long, meandering intro. You do not want to miss out on that intro. It's meant to ease you into bedtime. And it's kind of the one thing that, most of the regular listeners hear some part of the intro, and that's about it. But there are people that hear the whole show. That's why the shows are over an hour, because there's no pressure to fall asleep. But the intro eases you into bedtime. It makes you feel a part of something, because you're here with me, and there's a bunch of other people gathered around the proverbial warm, safe place, or, at a distance, holy cow, you say, yeah, I prefer to look at that warm, safe place from a distance. So, whether you're traveling a spaceship like a Mandalorian, or you're singing from a distance like Bette Midler would, it's time for the podcast. Oh, so the long meandering intro, then support, then we'll talk about the season 3 of The Mandalorian, but in a super meandering way. And I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And this is how we're able to do it for you for free twice a week. Hey, everybody, Scoots here. I want to tell you about another podcast I've been recommending, Meditative Story. If you or someone you know is looking for more immersive stories to help you get a peaceful sleep, I want to tell you about a podcast I love. It's called Meditative Story, and in each episode, you'll hear an intimate first-person story from someone about a moment where everything changed for them. Just like in my stories, the tales told are full of delightful twists. And oh boy, do they have an amazing lineup. But recent Meditative Story guests include comedian Tig Notaro, mental health activist Niall Breslin, and iconic musician Terrence Blanchard. My favorite part of the show is the way it weaves mindfulness prompts into the narrative, and each episode has its own handcrafted music score. Again, the show is called Meditative Story, and I hope you'll check it out and follow along in your favorite podcast player. Check it out. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep. Get over to helixsleep.com/sleep and take the 2-minute quiz to get matched with a mattress. Now, I do have a bit of mattress FOMO. I have the Helix Dusk Luxe, but Helix has a new high-end collection called Helix Elite. And Helix has harnessed their years of extensive mattress expertise to bring their customers an elevated sleep experience. The Helix Elite collection includes 6 different mattress models, each tailored for specific sleep positions and firmness preferences. And that sounds amazing, but I don't know, think about the bed you're in right now. You probably should have FOMO for the bed I'm sleeping in. I took the 2-minute quiz at helixsleep.com/sleep. I got matched with the Helix Dusk, and I picked the Dusk Luxe because I sleep on my side, I sleep on my stomach, I want to sleep cool. And that mattress fits my needs, right? And Helix is an amazing company to work with. Helix supports military, help first responders, teachers, and students by giving them a special discount on site. You take that quiz, you find out what's going to be the best mattress for you. Don't got to go to a store, lie on a bunch of mattresses while somebody's watching you, asking you a bunch of questions. And with Helix, you could order the mattress online. You get easy, no-contact delivery. But you already know by taking that Helix quiz, the mattress is going to fit you and your needs, or you and your partner's needs. Take that quiz together, and that way you find the perfect mattress for you. And if you don't want to take my word for it, Helix has over 12,000 five-star reviews. But by supporting Helix, you're supporting me and the show as well, and your good night's sleep. So go get a Helix and thank me later for your best night's sleep. And get this, Helix is offering 20% off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for Sleep With Me listeners. So go to helixsleep.com/sleep. That's helixsleep.com/sleep. This is their best offer yet. It won't last long. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time for the Sleepy Deep Dark and Night Sleepy Supporter Zone Summer Cup. If you're outside of the U.S. or you're in the U.S. And you support the show, spread the word about the podcast. Let me know about it. Or you become a direct supporter of the show on Patreon or Apple Podcasts. Let me know about it. You can fill out the form at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors. If you support a sponsor, if you're in Canada, you support Polysleep. If you're in the U.S., let me know. I want to see where in the world Sleep With Me has the most direct, the most active listeners. That's going to be the winner of the Sleepy Supporter Zone Deep Dark United Summer Cup or whatever it is. So let me know about it. Use that form at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors or tag me on social media. It's the best way. Let people know about the show, support the show, whatever it is. Holy cow, is this part of the podcast I'm excited about. All right, everybody, so that's the Sleepy Supporter Zone, Deep Dark United, Deep Dark Night United. The reason I get so excited is because that enables us to keep the show free for everybody. And over the past few months, I've heard about a lot of people who aren't in a position to support the show and benefit from it directly. Also, if you're having a tough time right now, there's links to resources you can connect with in the show notes. It's also about being a part of positive change, taking action, learning more, not just saying Black Lives Matter, not just saying stop AAPI hate, not just saying support Ukraine, but doing things. And I'd love for you to join us in the Orlando Park Stop fundraiser for Stop Hate, supporting the Trevor Project all throughout June. Please join in. I'm going to have some special rewards, so if you do support it, let me know about it. Use the link or go to orlandoparkstop.com/charity or just Google Orlando Park Stop Hate fundraiser and join in. Be a part of positive change. Be a part of community. Take positive action and help us support Orlando Park Stop's fundraiser to support the Trevor Project. I think that's it for the Sleepy Supporter Zone. Mr. Bard, a lot of people help out on this show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the mystery bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at JonathanMann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Don't forget, you can always get your sleep phones at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. Use Sleep With Me for $5 off your order. And what do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. It could be thoughts, things on your mind, thoughts about the past, the present, the future. So thoughts, thinking thoughts. It could be feelings, anything coming up for you emotionally related to those thoughts. or feelings that are there, feelings that have been there, thoughts, things that, feelings about your thoughts or physical sensations. It could be changes in time, temperature, routine. You could have your routine, I could relate to that. My routine has been disrupted. You could have something coming up. You could be going through something. You could have guests. You could be traveling. You could just have a big something coming up, whether it's something school-related or life-related. Or you might not know why. I mean, that's what happens to me most of the time. I say I tried all that stuff, and I'm still having a little bit of trouble getting to sleep. So whatever it is, I'm glad you're here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. That means I'm going to go off topic. I'm going to get mixed up, and then I'm going to forget what I was saying. Then I'll double back, and I'll say, wait a second, what was I saying? Then I'll double back, and then I'll repeat repetitive stuff, stuff that doesn't make any sense. Creaky dulcet tones means my voice is not traditionally soothing. It's just here to keep you company. And other things you need to know is this show is really, most people don't like it on the first couple listens because it's very different. I'll explain to you a lot of why, but I mean, obviously also if you've had trouble sleeping like myself and a lot of other listeners, you might be frustrated, skeptical, doubtful. You've probably had other things that people have said, oh, you got to try this. As we talk about, kissing. Oh my gosh, have you tried kissing your shoulders? And you'd say, I thought that was an idea. That idea was just a metaphor that the guy on the weird sleep podcast used. Oh, I don't know where it's from. Oh no, it's an ancient idea. Like you kiss your shoulders, as long as you're flexible enough. If not, you blow kiss. You don't really blow a kiss. You push a kiss to your shoulders. Okay, this is new though. Sounds like a new technique. Well, yeah, in case you don't want to you don't, probably it's best to start with pushing a kiss. Well, how do you push a kiss? It's like blowing a kiss, but without your hands. Okay, tell me, I was trying to introduce a sleep podcast, but tell me more. Okay, well, on the sleep podcast, that guy says, kiss your shoulders. It's like a way of expressing self-love. Shoulders are pretty nice. They can be unappreciated, but they can be hard to reach. Okay, I'm with you. I understand that. So in this case, you just kind of, it's like I said, it's the same as you pucker your lips. You could make a kissing sound, but you don't need to. And then you make a motion, like a kissing motion with your lips and, aim it at your shoulders. So turn your head towards your shoulder. Okay, I'm doing that as I'm recording. And then send a kiss there. Push it. You're pushing the kiss from your lips to your shoulder. Okay, that's great. And that's one technique that's out there. But if you've tried other things, and actually kissing your shoulders it won't work. I mean, that's the thing. Honestly, it could be a part of a routine that works. Like kissing your shoulders and practicing self-love, it does work for me. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to blow a kiss to what do they call it? Pushing a kiss. Okay, just pushed a kiss to my left shoulder and it kissed my right shoulder. And that does work as a part of a routine, like saying, hey, I love you. And my body, but sometimes it needs a little kiss. And sometimes I'm sitting in my car in a garage at somebody else's place recording a sleep podcast. And, but it doesn't, like some people would say, have you tried kissing your shoulders? Oh, it works every time for me. And I mean, I would say kissing my shoulders is part of a routine, where I practice some empathy and compassion with myself. And so if you're doubtful when you get to sleep with me, maybe you're doing it. Oh, I did try kissing my shoulders. Okay, let me see your technique because you're probably doing it wrong because it works for me every time. It puts me right to sleep. You're telling me that kissing your shoulders puts you right to sleep. Oh, yeah, 100%. That's a person that falls asleep all the time, So if you're doubtful or skeptical, I'm glad you are, because that's natural. Now, if you already loathe me in the show, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you has other sleep podcasts and sleepy stuff out there, because this show is just not going to work for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. So, what else do you need to know? Sleep With Me podcast. The show doesn't work for everybody, but give it a few tries. That's just what, like, I think over 1 million people have said it took 2 or 3 tries for me to get used to your podcast. Because one, I didn't realize it was a podcast you only kind of listen to. At first, I was listening to it, waiting to get started. And then on the third try, I realized, oh, you're serious about kissing your shoulders, but you're also serious that it only kind of barely makes it almost barely makes sense. And that's the show. It's almost, we're almost never always going almost anywhere. So it's a podcast you just barely listen to. You could just kind of treat me like a friend and you say, okay, sure, kissing your shoulders, that's great. It's also a podcast that doesn't put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. Like I said, the shows are over an hour, so there's no pressure to fall asleep. There's people who listen who can't sleep at all, and I'm here to keep them company to the very end. And I'm here to keep you company to the very end, whether you're listening or awake. So just kind of see how it goes as a listener. And some nights are going to be different than other nights, or some episodes and shows are going to eventually work for you better than other ones. All I could say is my job is to be your friend, your boar friend, your boar bay, your boar sib, your boar bud, your boar bestie, your neighbor, your boar burr, your boar bud, your friend, to keep you company and talk, and you don't have to listen to me or clean up after me or anything like that. Structurally can also throw people off. The show is structured in a very specific way, and the reason why it's structured the way it is it starts out with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you feel seen and welcomed in, and you say, oh, okay, I get the tone of that show. I feel comfortable, or I feel comfortable looking at it from afar. Then there's support, so the show could be free, which works for more people than the show just being a subscription only. Then there's a long meandering intro, which we're into, which introduces you to the podcast, but also for most listeners is a part of their wind down or part of their like easing into bedtime. Because, if you're like me, you just don't fall asleep. It just doesn't work that way. I slept in my bed the first time in a week, and that was only one night because my downstairs, my place flooded with water. That's where the bedrooms are. And I practiced my routine last night because I knew I was going to need it. I knew I was going to need to wind down and slowly ease myself into bedtime even more than normal because my routine's been disrupted. My bed is in a different place. I have different floors in my room. My room is filled with almost everything from the other rooms in the place. So it's and I slept really good. I really needed a good night's sleep, and I got a pretty good night's sleep. And part of that was having a wind down. And for some people, it might be while you're listening, while you're getting ready for bed. Other people might be in bed getting comfortable. Last night, I was just laying there using a heating pad on my back. So whatever it is, just kind of see how it goes. And there's some people who are falling asleep. There's some people who skip the intro. So you'll adjust as you become a regular listener if the show works for you. What else do you need to know? Oh, then after that'll be support. Then we'll talk about the Mandalorian. And it'll be, even if you've never seen the show, I mean, most people are like, that's not what happened in the episode. That's not, you say, how hard is it for you to say Din Djarin? And I'd say, is that, I don't know. Most people would say, I'd say, like, what's the difference between a moth and a moffat? I don't know. Like, I have no idea. What has there ever been a book, The Moths of Hoth, or how about David Hoff, the Moth? He just got a new deal. I can't remember what it was though, but I've seen him. Oh, Eurorail. He's doing for some sort. I don't know if it's Eurorail, but that doesn't have anything to do with it. I guess they could have a Star Wars train and he could be on it as the Moth. I don't know what Moth means either. That's, I like Star Wars, but I don't retain very much information about anything. Okay, so I think that's it. I guess that's why I make the show. That's the structure and what to expect. I'm really glad you're here. I work really hard at Yearn and I Strive. That's why I make the show, because I've been there. Like I said, tossing, turning, mind racing. I can relate to how it feels in the deep dark night. So can a lot of other people that listen. And the other thing, I usually say this earlier, but it's true. You deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place you could get some rest, the rest you need, the rest you deserve. And that's important. It's not just trite. Like, if you get the rest you need, your life's going to be more manageable and your life's going to be better. And that's important to me because I know how it feels on the other side. So I'm so glad you're here. I really appreciate you coming by. And here's a couple of ways we're able to do this for you for free twice a week. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive, where customers who save by switching their home and car save nearly $800 on average. Quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $793 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2021 and May 2022. Potential savings will vary. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about tonight's sponsor, ZocDoc. And we all know when someone is exceptionally good at what they do, you know, it could be a waiter, a chef, a doctor, you know you're in good hands. Like, you know, when you see a juggler and they're on a unicycle and the unicycle's on top of a bunch of, you know, beach balls or something, you say, man, those, what are those things called? Bowling pins? They're in good hands with that juggler. And when you find the right doctor, you could feel it. You feel heard and at ease. And on ZocDoc, finding the right doctor for you is seamless. The quality care you need is just a few taps away in the ZocDoc app. And I love hearing from listeners who have been trying out the free ZocDoc app, because ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them and treat almost every condition under the sun. Because when you're not feeling your best and you're just trying to hold it together, finding great care shouldn't take up all your energy. You know, making calls, doing research, waiting around, and then finding out they don't take your insurance or they're not available. No. That's where ZocDoc comes in. Using the free app that millions of users rely on, you could find the right doctor that meets your needs and fits your schedule. And you can book an appointment in just a few taps and start feeling better, faster with ZocDoc. And here's how easy it is. Go to ZocDoc.com/sleep and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/sleep. ZocDoc.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. All right, it's Scoots here, and it's time to fire up the plus, which I guess isn't going. I thought I had it open on here. And watch a little Mandalorian. I'm still recording in my car, just like the last Mandalorian episode. Interesting. Oh, there's Disney Plus. You know, all these, some of these services are cutting their names down. I say, why not call yourself the Disney or the Plus? But they said, no, thank you. Also learned a huge gap in my ignorance of like somebody who's playing one of the Mandalorians today. That was interesting. Our very own Jon Favreau. Not that he's the Mandalorian's very own the Mandalorian, the Jon Favreau from The Mandalorian is also playing a Mandalorian. I won't spoil it for you, but probably most reasonable people figured it out, even though I didn't, and someone had to kind of point it out for me and say, dude, how'd you, I say, well, yeah, no, Scoots is not, I'm known for my meanders, not my astute observations, and, yeah, just like I love Jon Favreau, Paz Visala. I need to learn. Yeah. At this point in the season, growing on me. But when you know, I'm sorry I took Bo-Katan's side in that, or projected my, you know, whatever it was. That's a me issue, not a you. That's a me thing, not a you thing. And the fact that I can't pronounce Paz Visala, which is probably still wrong. That's my problem. That's why I make a sleep podcast. But I always appreciate it being pointed out. And something that like H to the Izzo, like there's something that rhymes with that. That's a surprise. And this is an episode full of surprises coming up. It's called okay, here it's starting. It's chapter 22. Oh boy, huh? It's a chapter 22, season 3, episode 6. I didn't brainstorm the it's friends for hire. Friends for hire. You know, there's we've all been in a situation where we've wanted someone as a friend, and then we said, well, if I buy, like, we didn't say it out loud. Hey, if I buy you this, you think you'd be my friend? But we've all, you know, at some stage in our life, or for some of us, many, many, many stages of our lives. Okay, I got my notebook. You shouldn't have heard anything though, because this beauty of editing. But yeah, so it starts off with last time. And this is kind of an episode sequence I had forgotten about. Another case of pirates, where Mando and Baby Oso. This is where they first meet Bo-Katan and the Night Owls, right? That's what they're called, the Night Owls. Where they're dealing with a fish friend and pirates, and the Night Owls come and say, "Don't worry, we got you." And they say, "Baby Oso, thank you." They take off their helmets. You're not Mandalorian. You took your helmets off. Oh, you're one of those Mandalorians that doesn't take your helmet off. Then we see the Gideon and the Darksaber, and must be one in battle, he says. And we see the N1 or the M1 from this season lounging on the throne, stolen fleets, I lost it all. They're going through the galaxies. Then we see the Build-A-Bear workshop where they think the Mandalorian has bear stuffing, but Bo-Katan comes, takes a Darksaber, and frees the Mandalorian pretty easily. Then they talk creed. What do we stand for? Without the creed, we're scattered across the galaxy. You rescued me. I'll be in your debts. Grogu's watching it. Then we go to this most recent episode. Take your helmet off. Some people have strayed from the way. It's not enough for a few to walk. It's Bo-Katan walks in both worlds. She's going to bring other Mandalorians back to us so that we may be together. But she shows her face. Well, she walks in both worlds. I don't know if there's probably a song out there about it. Hopefully it's industrial, because that's the kind of music that I think fits this. Okay, then it goes to black. And okay, then we get the Lucasfilm sequence, and then the Star Wars sequences. What else we got here? Doors open. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. So this is a very interesting beginning of an episode. And a ship I've never seen before, a style of ship, kind of golden. So yeah, we see stars, and the camera pans up to the right. We see a kind of interesting looking ship. It's got a little crustacean going on it, but it's not, and it's got four jets or four things. Door opens. Someone's got a martini glass, a fancy martini glass with a fish in it, and then there's someone in a tank, and they put the fish in the tank. I guess it's a fishtini. Says thanks for the fishtini. Then they say, by the way, we're on we can get around Trask, no problem, but Imperial ship, Captain. Imperial, how powerful? Pretty big ship. Okay, well, call them up, hail their leader, and we'll talk about it. And then the fish, it's like a human-sized fish tank, a humanoid-sized fish tank. So it drains, and then the captain sits in a commander's chair, captain's chair, a throne-like thing. Then we see a big Imperial ship. And says, hey, Imperials, what's up? We're Quarren, we're peaceful, headed to do business in the mid-rim, and we didn't realize there was any payoffs in this sector. So sorry about that. And the other says, I'm not somebody that takes payment. No, I didn't mean it that way. Basic's not my native tongue. I meant to say we're not aware that any of our friends were in the sector and that we needed to hire them for friendship. And then we see the Mandalorians on the ship, Bo-Katan's old crew. And it says, yeah, we're Mandalorian, but you're too late to hire us. We've been hired. Shugoff said to track you down. Maybe it says, well, that's not right. Axe Woves, baby. We're privateers, individuals for hire. Price is high. We're good at what we do. And we're loyal. And we're here to, even though, you might pay us more, we're Mon Calamari Viceroy. Says his son's on board. Or says their son's on board. Yeah, we got peace with the calamari. Why would I do that? War's no good. What's it good for? Well, we know it's about love. Come on. This is a love story, but it's the kind of one we get involved in. And then we have a kid, a Mon Calamari kid or teen or young adult come out, says, yeah, we're in love. I'm not going home to mom and dad. And they say, yeah, you are. Go ahead. Let's make this quick. We got something on Plaisir 15 we got to get to. I don't want to go back to my wretched palace. Oh, no, please. And they say, Captain, talk to the Mon Calamari kid. Says, you got to go with him. No, I love you. Yeah, I can't. This is a childish fling. I can't give up my ship and everybody. Childish fling? That's not really what I meant again. But you got to go with them. Fate was not on our side. Well, who cares about fate? I love you. And I will always love you, as was once sang before and will be sung again. Even in the mid-rim, it gets sung, and I will always love you. And Casca Reeves takes Mon Calamari, says, come on, kid, come with us. And the door closes, and the title card comes up, The Mandalorian. Don't cross your A's, by the way. In Chapter 22, Friends for Hire. It'd be cool if it was like Buzz and Woody were singing at the beginning, but no, we see Bo-Katan's ship in the atmosphere. More atmospheric flying, more jet trails, more clouds. It clears out. We got a green planet with domes, fancy dome cities. There they are. This is a lot of high comedy in this episode. Starting like in kind of classic sci-fi fiction. But they see the Mandalorian's fleets. Took a long time. Bo-Katan says to put that together, get it from the Empire. Yeah, I thought it looked familiar. It'll come in handy taking back Mandalore. Well, Axe Wolves is their leader now. That's Wolves with a V. I thought it was with an L, but wonder what they're here for. This planet's not part of the New Republic, so, maybe they hired them. Can't imagine Wolves is going to be happy to see you. Probably not. Grogu's right up front. We'll land outside the perimeter, go in on foot. Then this music plays, kind of 8-bit music. Welcome to Plaisir 15. It's the only remaining direct democracy. You've been assigned a docking slip, and you'll be guided there automatically. So they get a tractor beam that guides them to a landing pad. And what's happening? They've taken over the ship. We're just going to have to roll with it. I guess we're going for a ride, kid. Grogu loves it. And we see this is kind of an ultra modern looking city. It's not, it's triangles. Is that what, was it Buckminster Fuller into triangles or octagons? I don't know, but I'd say, is that a Fuller Dome or not? And a wiser person would be able to answer that. They come off the ship. There's two shiny black droids, R2 unit, and not a C3PO-esque, like a protocol droid type unit. I guess they're Imperial droids. They say, welcome RA-57. Go to the Hyperloop pod. And they say, holy cows. Now, this is one of my dreams, is to ride on one of these Hyperloops. And my understanding is this is all vacuum tubes, man. Like if you ever watch like steampunk movies or even movies, like I guess this is two styles of Gilliam here. Oh no, that's the next episode. Sorry. Yeah, so we got one flavor of Gilliam on this side. I feel like it wouldn't be it could I guess it's I don't think there's pneumatic tubes in every Terry Gilliam film. But one out of all the films might not be bad. But there is the next episode. I said, is this, did Terry Gilliam direct this? And there's high humor in this. And also I don't know, is Jon Favreau a Gilliam fan? Because there are a lot of thematic things in this season. I mean, they're handled differently, and this is a nice shiny planet. Okay, so they say, why do they have Imperial droids on this independent world? It's the Outer Rim. It's different out here. Okay. So then they get in one of these pneumatic tubes, or Hyperloop. I assume it's pneumatic. I guess it could just be some sort of fancy maglev thing. They say, let's go to the Mandalorian fleet. Sorry, Article 9 of the Coruscant Accords. You got to deal with the High Senate to go into the peacekeeping zone. Can we scan your chain codes first? So they put out their chain codes. And they get scanned. And they say, okay, well, Din Djarin and Bo-Katan Kryze, you actually requested by the democracy leaders. Well, yeah, we're busy. Maybe later. Do not attempt to leave the vehicle. Not a request. And then they take off. They didn't scan Grogu's chain code, by the way. What age do you get a chain code? What other things does that entitle? Does that give you retirement or what? But yeah, so they go through ultra-modern city, indoors, inside a dome, green stuff. Say, yeah, we're going to have to get out of here probably the hard way. And then they park. Grogu says, what? And then we jump, this is fun. It's a nice fountain, nice structures. And they go into this room. And this is probably worth pausing or watching multiple times. I'm going to have to pause it okay. So there's music playing. And this is like a little bit of what's that movie called? Alice in Wonderland, it feel to me. First off, there's parrot type birds flying indoors. There's a party going on, and the substance they're consuming from the party it's a secretion. Ain't no party like a secretion party that you don't ever, just don't invite me. I mean, especially in my current state, I'd say, yes, sorry, I don't imbibe in secretions anymore. And I'm not, this is not Scooter. That's not a tangent. That's like, I'll tell you, so they walk in the room, a lot of bright colors, pretty, hey, welcome to the party. And then you say to yourself, or I did, what time are we at here? We are at 10:52. Okay. So you're at the head of the table and we still haven't, I don't think got a close up yet, but if you pause it there, you're like, wait a second. This is literally when I was watching it for pleasure. First of all, there's beautiful bright colors. There's a lot of natural lights. On the right-hand side of the screen, there's something that looks like a purple giraffe or something. On the left side of the screen is something like a seahorse bird on someone's chair. And it's a royal table. It's got flowers. And then at the end of at the head of the other side of the table, even now, first of all, you say, is that Lizzo? And then also has some sort of spectacular, multicolored, I guess like later in the episode, it's like some sort of simulation, 3D projection, like, would you call it, plumage? Cause it's not like, it's like a accoutrement for a dress. And then the other person is Jack Black. and you say, like, in like some sort of uniform that matches what Lizzo's wearing, but with like a gold cape. And it is very comedic. Says, come on, special guest, in an Alice in Wonderland type thing. Hope you like secretions. We're taking a little sippy sips. So it is funny. And then we see the secretor. We see birds. People are chatting. Party's good, man. It says, let's address the bantha in the room. Yeah, I used to work for the Empire. Facilities planning officer, but went through the Republic amnesty, rebuilt Plaisir 15, and fell in love. So Plaisir, went through the tough times with the Empire. Captain Bombardier, helped with the nobility, and we fell in love. So Lizzo's from the royal family. And they're in love for sure. Grogu loves it. Like, I don't know if he's ever seen two people in actual love before. And I don't know, like, it's great when, like, guest stars are having fun. And I mean, I did accidentally read some people that were like, but this is like a style of the other two seasons of Mandalorian where there's one or two break episodes. So, like, where, I mean, this is still advancing the plots. So, also, I'm just pausing it here, and I can't remember. Jack Black's got a serious beard going, and then Lizzo has like a I don't know if it's a crown. What do you call the things that not a crown, but it's like a, what is that thing called? It's not a tutu. That's what you wear, but it's like a tutu. Does it have the same thing? Like you put it on your head, but it's not a crown. But Elizabeth says, "Can I hold the baby?" He doesn't take kindly to strangers. She just like runs a fish, and Grogu flips and lands so fast. They're all laughing, probably because they had so much secretions. They said, "Yeah, we held direct democratic elections. We're royals and elected leaders." But what about those Mandalorians in the peacekeeping zone? Oh, they're our protection. We don't have a military because my husband's a former Imperial, but all our resources go to growth and to the people. And I say, we'd like to talk to these privateers. Yeah, sure, but something else is going on. Just one condition: you got to come see the view. And you can tell that's code. Even Jack Black's so good at being bad at holding secrets. Let's just show our guests the view. So at this point, she's not the countess, but she says, we have a problem, a droid problem. Coordinated malfunction of droids, we think. Why do you think that's? Well, it's I oversaw, we converted the droids, we rehabbed them, and yeah, to serve our people. Well, it started out, wasn't too power cycling, deleted stacks, then a couple crashes, fender benders, and then some weird stuff. What does this have to do with us? Well, these are battle droids. Battle droids, Mandalorian says. They're civic duty battle droids, former battle droids. And why don't you have the Mandalorians? They can't come in the city. They're peacekeepers. We can't have anyone entering our city. But good news is, this is just funny. We're a pluralistic society by votes. So you're Mandalorians, and you're kind of tough by trade. So you're allowed to come in here and be tough by trade. So you want us to deal with the droids? Exactly. Okay, hold on, Your Majesty. Oh, and they realize they already know who they are because they say Princess Kryze. Is that Bo-Katan Kryze, right? Says, hold on. Your Grace, you could call, not Majesty, Your Grace. It's not going to be charity. Well, we're not mercenaries. Oh, no. We don't mean that. Grogu's getting petted. We hope that this excursion would be an act of diplomacy between our planets. And, we would formally recognize Mandalore as a sovereign system, petition the new public to recognize you. And we know you and Axwove split up because of Mandalore. So they have a lot of information. And she says, okay. Wait, this is a well-written episode. Okay, the offer stands. And Bo-Katan had 15 minutes as to Mandalorian. Well, what do you think? He says, you had me at battle droids. So just a lot of layers of fun stuff in here. And then we go down, and this one was wild. You say, wait a second. I'm sorry. Are my eyes deceiving me? They go down to the control room. And as soon as you hear the voice is talking, they're talking about the stockpile of Imperial robotics. Is that who I think it is? And it is. It's Christopher Lloyd who played Doc Brown, which is weird because Doc Brown just came up in an intro a few months ago. But yeah, these droids are reprogrammed. He's in uniform. They were supposed to be scrapped at Carthanon. There's even one oh boy, I didn't even notice that. Is that one walking a baby? That's at like 1520. There's a droid walking a baby across one of the main cameras. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like this garbage droid started throwing garbage collection droid. So we get a sequence of video cameras of droids acting out. And then there were others. There's a droid delivering packages from shopping, starts throwing the person's clothes. Then another droid takes a car without permission and has a fender bender. Then there's a sushi droid who cuts the sushi not the right thickness. And says, turn it off. The screens? No, why don't you turn the droids off, yo? Bo-Katan says that. Like, who's in charge of that? He goes, you silly goose. You just press this button and it turns it off. But that's a problem. A problem? Yeah, the citizens voted against the interruption in droid services. They need the droids. Why is that? Citizens don't have to work. The droids do everything. Everybody spends their days in recreation, the arts, and participating in our direct democracy. So if we shut down the droids, no one would know what to do. And our whole society would collapse. Holy cow. And they say, well, what do you want us to do? Seek out and decommission the broken droids until we can figure things out. And they say, you got a list? He goes, no, I don't got a list. You got to go down to the lower level and speak to the Ugnaughts. And the Mandalorian says, Ugnaughts? And we say, Ugnaughts? That sounds familiar, but I don't remember exactly what it is. And Mandalorian says, yeah, I loathe droids. You see why? And Bo-Katan says, I think you're taking this personal. It's not personal. And they go down to the basement level, sub-basement level, where there's like a lot of droid and metal work going on, a lot of mechanical work, and including sparks and stuff like that. And Bo-Katan says, what's going on? And they kind of, we're here on the behalf of the Duchess. Okay, the Duchess and Captain Bombardier. And they kind of ignore Bo-Katan, but Mandalorian's dealt with an Ugnaught before. Bo-Katan says, this isn't going anywhere. Again, we get this partners in crime thing with those two. He goes, I'm friend of Ugnaught coolies. And they go, whoa, really? You'll answer our questions. I've spoken. So then we get them all sitting. They're very serious people. And the Mandalorian has to do the formalities. Thanks for sharing your table with us. We're trying to hunt down these droids. There's no malfunctioning droids. And Bo-Katan says, by the way, yeah, there are. Have you watched the news? There's like ones that don't cut sushi the right thickness. And they go, we're aware of everything. I assure you there's no droids malfunctioning. And Bo-Katan says that there is. People want their suit. This isn't this case, the Ugnaught says. I've spoken. And then the Mandalorian has to intervene. Okay, we're not saying it's your fault. You're legends. Don't worry. We're just saying that we're supposed to track down the ones that may or may not be working properly. And we could use your help. So please, I've spoken. And the other dude whispers to another dude. And then they say, give me this thing. It looks like some sort of adding machine. It says, this is a list of broken droids. All right, we're in your debt. I've spoken. Then they get back in one of the vacuum tubes. Bo-Katan says, so what's up with that? He goes, yeah, I've hung around Ugnaughts. You got to communicate with them a specific way. Can't tell them they're not good workers. But the next thing's going to happen at the loading docks. So we got to get to the loading docks. How sure are they? Hard to tell because they're very sure of themselves. So I don't know. But it's the only lead we got. So let's take a look around. There's trouble in my behind. So they go to loading docks. Looks like it's on the water. It's nighttime. There's a lot of battle droids carrying cargo. Looks like they're either unloading or loading. I haven't seen any battle droids since the Clone War. Who says I have? Do they look suspicious? They all look suspicious to the Mandalorian. And then there's a droid in charge. They say, give me a droid in charge. He says, I'm the foreman. What's your identification? They go, we don't need it. We're here from the Duchess and Bombardier. And somebody's not working right. Yeah, I've heard the reports. I've checked all these out. Mandalorian's doing his own inspections. They say, don't do that. We've got the certification for the elevators and the droids on file in the office if you want to look at it. And the Mandalorian's still like, Bo-Katan's trying to say, she's trying to get to the bottom of it. Mandalorian starts trying to trip the battle droids. He says, what are you doing? These droids don't like being tested. And finally, one droid does not like being tested and goes on the run. So we get a chase sequence. And this is pretty good because it kind of switches. So they're chasing a droid through these ultra-modern streets. Like I put Tango in cache. 24 hours or whatever, kind of like, Lethal Weapon. That's another one. Two people that are working together that don't necessarily like each other. Well, they do though. They just have different styles. But yeah, so then, they're chasing the droid. The droid's trying to get away and the droid's really fast. Finally, Mando goes into like a sushi shop, maybe the same sushi shop as before. And dives out a window and manages with Bo-Katan with teamwork to. But there's more action, a lot of neon signs, and a lot of fast moving, a lot of floating advertisements. So another modern city, though the city does seem to be on the ground level. Yeah, here's a Mandalorian. He goes through one thing, goes into maybe it's just no, it looks like maybe it's a noodle place. But yeah, then they take this battle bot down. Then you get these like little tiny droids that come in to secure the area and clean it up and keep everybody off. That was interesting. I liked that. And they're trying to get to they say, okay, how are we going to figure out anything more than what we know now? Oh, we found a spark pad, which is like matches. What does it say? The resistor. So sounds like a droid bar. There's droid bars? What in the what? Let's check it out then. There's an address on here. Okay, so then we get this really cool sequence. So I don't know if this is, well, it's just familiar, in a good way. But so they are working as a team. And now Bo-Katan's like, I don't need you messing with these droids, so let me take the lead at this droid bar. They go down an alley. There's two droids talking. kind of like, I like the look of your cap. And the other droid says, well, but there's two neon signs outside the bar. They go in, and this is another one where you might want to pause it or rewatch it, especially if you go to theme parks and stuff like that. First off, it opens with them cheersing some sort of liquid. And then also, if this reminds me a little bit of Doctor Who, only thematically, briefly, but okay, pause it. You get like every type of droid you've seen or not seen before. And it just droids having fun. I mean, one's like, so there's one here at 2429. I can't even remember the droid on the left where I've seen that droid before, if it was in the original Star Wars on the Jawa ship. But yeah, there's a lot of familiar droids, including, there's also like a bright, shiny teal C3 units. But yeah, a bunch of R2 units. And then, okay, there's the timestamp is, we at 2432. There's not one, there's two pilots of Star Tours pilots. And I guess they're former Star Tours pilots because they were replaced by C3PO. And that was once voiced that when I forgot the name of the unit. Somebody in the audience will remember. But they were a voice. It was the one on Star Tours was voiced by Paul Rubens. And then it's another Katie, but I can't think of the actress's last name, who currently, when you go to board Star Tours, gives the thing and then at the end and says, bye-bye. I can't think of that Katie's last name. But yeah, there's a record, like the record just doesn't scratch. The record stops as Mandalorian and Bo-Katan come in. People are like, what in the name? And so I don't think they get many humans in here. I mean, no offense, if I was drinking, the first place I would go after I had gone someplace and had like 10 to 15 drinks would be a droid bar. And it'd probably be best if I went by myself, but the first time I would probably be afraid and go, well, no, there's a high chance I would go there. And then, I mean, I guess they don't serve anything that I would drink, but then I'd be tapping the droids like, it's so hard. Like I would immediately think I'm a droid, and they'd say, by the way, why are you here? Say, because I can relate, man. But that, I don't have to live that way anymore. And then to say, can you help you? The bartender says, is this a resistor? We found this spark pad on a droid that was acting out. Well, we got a lot of spark pads. What are you getting at? Malfunctions. They all point back to this oil can. Let me check my registry. We're in full compliance. Mandalorian gets tough. I'll yank your memory circuit. And everybody says, whoa, that's not nice. And the shiny R2 unit tries to go. The Mandalorian says, no one leaves. And Bo-Katan says, let me speak to my partner for a minute here. Tone it down, dude. And he goes, you can't reason with droids. This is, oh my God, the dialogue in this episode. Oh, whoops, I hit the wrong button. He says, you can't reason with droids. They're logical or something. Oh, I backed up a lot here. But yeah. So we see the droids. They go to the bar. Says, okay, listen, man, you can't reason with droids. Their behavior's programmed. All they do is reason. And he goes, yeah, but they're also causing trouble. And she goes, listen, you're not helping. Just because malfunctioning droids visit here doesn't make mean that. And actually, they say it loud enough so the bartender hears this. Says, I want to help. We're worried about this too. And this is when you get into this idea that droids love humans. That reminds me of Doctor Who, of like how Doctor Who's always like, humans are great, man. Because they say, yeah, what if they decide they don't want droids on this planet anymore. They replace you with what? With humans. You know what's going on with the New Republic's decommissioning everything. We're refurbished droids. Some of them before the separatist era. Like, we don't want to be scrapped. This is our second chance here in Plaisir. And they go, well, this isn't helping your cause. And they go, yeah, that's why we want to help. We've got a lot. We don't want to be replaced. We got a lot to contribute. Human life is so short. And they don't ask much of us. Organics created us. It's the least we can do. And all the droids cheer, yay! Humanoids, organics, hooray for organics. And I say, that's good programming. Whoever programmed that in there. So they sit down with the bartender who has a record of like the different batches of, what do they drink? Nepenthe. Nepenthe. It's not booze. It's Nepenthe. It's a viscous lubricant that protects against mechanical wear and delivers programmed subparticles. Okay, so they drink Nepenthe. Yeah, and it helps their mainframe, fill in their mainframe, gaps in the mainframe or something. And, all the droids had this one batch in Nepenthe. So, interesting, eh? It is interesting. Who do you buy your Nepenthe from? And then they go to a place where androids do dream of electric big farms in the sky, not sheep, or droids do. And they take out some viscous lubricant from the droid, the battle droid. And we actually have a medical droid and then a human. And they say, let's put it in the centrifuge and centrifuge it up. See if we can figure out this Nepenthe stuff. And it says, all right, let's check it out here. Yeah, there's subparticles. Okay. Are they still active? Oh, yeah. Because the medical droid starts putting on a laser light show, which is not good for anybody because you can't really see during a laser light show. And so they say, we don't have glasses on. So Mando Darksabers the medical droid. So the medical droid starts to dream of big farms in the sky instead of electric sheep. Guess it's still active. Let's do a close-up. Wait a second. There's subparticles in here. These are nanobots. That's like a main thing in nanodroids. How'd nanodroids get into Nepenthe? Who knows? Maybe they fell in there? What's that? Just a scratch, striations. No, zoom in. And that's probably malleability stuff. Nope, it's a chain code. Or something. It's writing, yeah. We could, okay, it is a chain code. If it has a chain code, we could figure out where it's from. And yeah, we learned that people aren't good at covering the tracks or everything's tracked here, so no reason to bother. Yeah, these came from the Techno Union. They've been in cold storage for ages. And they came through droid acquisitions, so that's strange. How'd they get here? They were requisitioned by a security office. Is that unusual? Unusual. It's not allowed. There's not even a record of this transaction, except for the one we're looking at. These were ordered by an individual with the name of Commissioner Hellgate, a.k.a. Doc Brown. So they say, okay, let's go down there. They go back to the security office. Commissioner Hellgate's working hard. Hey, Commissioner, we got some questions for you. I'm too busy looking for anomalies in the data farm. We know about the Nepenthe and the nanodroids. You did it. You're coming with us. Everybody turns around. What? We always knew he was a bad boss. And he does this move. He stands up and he flicks away the protective cover in one of the most fluid motions I've ever seen. What time is that at? You'd start at 30:37. He stands up and he flicks open the protective cover. I mean, it's the definition of a fluid motion. Let me see it again. Everybody goes, what? And he does it. And then he gets ready to press the button. Everybody freeze. This is a fail-safe And this will convert the droids back into troublemakers. Everybody says, not the droids. And he says, don't make me do it. And Bo-Katan says, why are you going to bother? It's over. Give up. I never give up. Why bother? All I do is bother. I don't give up to anybody, and I won't give up to you. So, and she goes, are you a separatist? He goes, I'm not a separatist. He goes, I support democracy. But it doesn't look, he goes, Count Dooku was a visionary, and the Jedi had to get in the way. And then Bo-Katan just sings him to sleep. And she says, okay. And she goes, politics. Then we see, okay, then we get back into Alice in Wonderland fun. What time are we at now? 31:50. So this is an Alice in Wonderland sequence. They're playing croquet, bouncing beetle croquet. And no, I'm not making that up. That's really what they're playing or something like it. And her name's not the Countess though, but Milady. She has a red and blue beetle ball. So she takes it. Oh, there's no mallet, so it's just by tossing. So more like bocce. And she focuses, does a underhand throw, bounces it off another beetle, but she does get help from Grogu's force. Everybody cheers because it's like a perfect quadro blast. Never seen such a streak. And then they walk in with Commissioner Hellgate. Why are you in trouble? Here's the source of your malfunctions. Really? Yes, it's true, milady. And they can't believe it. If this is the quack to call him the Stifling Slimy. This planet's unrecognizable since this guy arrived, Captain Bombier. And she says, I'm disappointed. You know, you served my family well, but Captain Bombier is the love of my life. His heart is true. Does seem like his heart is true. Maybe he's made some mistakes in the past. Who hasn't? Isn't there a little room for forgiveness in this galaxy so vast? And he says, I'm sorry I disappointed you. He goes, maybe I can get your forgiveness too. And she goes, well, not immediately. Perhaps, but for now you have to live on the exile on the moon of Paraquat. And people, this is another, I don't know, it's easy to discount these episodes, but when you really watch them, this is, it stuck out to me even when I was watching it for pleasure. Okay, so it's, she says, Paraquat, 3321. Then there's a reaction from the partygoers and then from, Commissioner Hellgate, that's just like, it is great. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, everybody at the party goes, what? And he goes, oh my gosh, anything but that. He doesn't speak a word, but he looks like he had 15 lemonades. And then he goes off like, let's see, let's see if we can look it up while we're just here live. I'm in my car, so I'm typing with one hand. Moon of, how do you think you spell it? P-A-R-A-Q. Yeah, there we go. It came up. P-A-R-A-Q-U-A-T is Paraquat. It's also a game. I guess that's not how you spell it. Let's see. Mandalorian. Oh, but it's spelled M-A-N-D. Mandalorian. Don't see anything about the moon. But here's the thing. You don't need to see anything. You don't want to end up on the moon of Paraquat. Yeah, whatever. I mean, you don't want to go there. Okay, so then she says, as for you, Lady Bo-Katan Kryze and Din Djarin of Concordia, and there's activity going on in the background. Oh, whoa. Sorry. Back it up. Okay. If you pause again, you could see birds and the giant purple, what is that thing called? What's the thing with a long neck called? A giraffe. It's not a giraffe, but it is cool. So I like when there's stuff going on in the background. There's birds flying. There's people walking. Okay, I grant you audience with our Mandalorian protectors. There was also just a flying squirrel, a giant one, and the key to Plaisir. You know, how about that? Bring me the key. And it's a giant key. But Bo-Katan knows how this goes, so accepts it graciously. You'll always be welcomed in our domed paradise. Yeah, now there's in the background a giant, I don't know. And then I'm going to grant knighthood to Baby Oso, a.k.a. Grogu. The Ancient Order of Independent Regencies. You're a knight of that. AOIR. Go in peace, brave travelers, into AOIR. Grogu, AOIR. That'll be at the end of Grogu's name from like OBE, you know? Or maybe KNIOR. She waves goodbye in a cute way, and then Grogu waves back. Then they get back in the tubes, and they're approaching Field 3. Bo-Katan's looking stressed, but you're the leader, the Mando. They'll follow you. Yeah, I'm not their leader anymore. Axe Woves is, not wolves. Woves. He goes, what's your play? Even Grogu says, oh, what's your play? Well, I know when I get there. So, shoot off through the tubes. They're walking, and they walk into the, it's a field of Mandalorians working, chilling. Giant ships. They're having coffee, actually, or tea. Or maybe they're having an adult beverage. They drink out of shiny mugs. They have flags up. A couple people are playing catch, maybe. They see, floating pram, a shiny Mandalorian, and Bo-Katan. They say, did you come back to join us? And Bo-Katan says, I've come back to reclaim my fleets. Not your fleet anymore, it's mine. Woves. Axe Woves. Woves what? Because I'm quite fond of being in command. And she starts walking again. Slowly. Very, in a Western style. Like a dead-end town, an East Town boy and a West End girl. Challenge you. One warrior to another to see who's going to lead this thing. Do you accept my challenge? He stands up, puts his drink down, and says, I do. And then they say, everybody dance now. Doot, 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 doot. And she says, I'm going to make you sweat indeed. And he says to her, is that dope enough? And she goes back, she says, indeed. And they make a lot of CNC Music Factory level moves. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And he uses his jetpack a lot more. I guess maybe he comes over reliant on it. It does seem like Bo-Katan is a superior, definitely has, what does he call it? The superior dexterity. Okay, no, Bo-Katan just used the jetpack. And so at first she gets him once, she says, do you yield? He uses his jetpack, says no. Then she gets him again. She uses her jetpack, first she dodges a flame, but then she, again, she says, do you yield? And he says, I guess so. But his fingers are crossed. Because as soon as he yields, he says, by the way, I got you a technicality. You still don't have the darksaber. He does. And you should have danced off with him. She goes, this is so counterproductive. And she stands up. She goes, don't you guys get this? Like, this is counterproductive. Everybody comes out of their tents. Speech time. Mandalorians are stronger together. Why can't we figure that out? And Axe Wolf still wants to run his mouth. Goes, this guy's not even a Mandalorian, and he's got the Darksaber. Din Djarin took the creed, walked the way, just like our ancestors did. And Run DMC and Aerosmith. He's every bit as Mandalorian as they were. Some of them weren't even Mandalorians. They were just rock hip hop crossover hits. According to our ways, the ruler of Mandalore must possess a dark saber, except if it's me, Axe Woves. Goes, because I was just technically part-time. And then Mando steps up and he says, "Here, I'll just give it to you." And then for some reason, Axe Woves thinks that's funny. I would have wove him a new haircut. And she goes, "It's not a gift to be given as much as I appreciate it. Also, it's not the best time." He goes, "It's not a gift, by the way." He goes, "You're not going to believe this, but it's the truth. I went to Mandalore to take a bath." Somebody raises their hand. He goes, "No, not to give my child a bath, for me to take a bath." And someone else raises his hand. He goes, "In the living waters of Mandalore, not just to take any bath, to take a specific bath, to be redeemed." And they say, "Okay." He goes, "On the way to the bath, got sidetracked. And I met a being that was part mechanical, part organic. It, for some reason, thought it was running a Build-A-Bear workshop." Somebody else raises their hand, and he says, "Okay, Build-A-Bear workshop. Who here knows what it means to have a stuffed animal?" People kind of are, okay. Who here, when they were a child, had a non-living, comfort-based, and they say plushie, and they says, "Oh, thank you. Yeah, basic's not my," he goes, "Does everyone know what a plushie is?" And then people kind of talk among themselves. Very quickly, everyone starts to, "Oh, okay. Yeah. He goes, "On some planets, there's something called a Build-A-Bear workshop. For our purposes, a plushie, build your own plushie workshop." Where he goes, "No, it's only a few different models, and basically you're just putting the stuffing in and choosing a few accoutrements." Everyone kind of gets that, but they find it a little confusing. Also, in this context, they find it even more confusing. And he says, "Okay, I'll repeat myself again because I could tell it's confusing. Deep in the heart of Mandalore, on the way to the living waters where I was going to take a bath," everyone nods, "I was sidetracked when I met somebody." Everyone nods. That somebody was running a build your own plushie place. It doesn't make any sense, but to this being, it did make sense. Can we agree on that? Again, he had to answer a couple more questions, but, our requests for information, and they say, "Okay, we get it now. It's not going to ever make any sense, but this organic mechanical being was running its own Build-A-Plushie workshop deep in Mandalore with no customers. They were the only customer." Okay, they agree on that. The Build-A-Bear plushie workshop was low on plushie stuffing. And he says, "Yes, before I got there. For some reason, this being thought I was a stuffed plushie and was going to restock its plushie materials with plushie, thinking I was full of plushie stuffing." And then one person, who knows if they said, Mandalore said, "No, I'm not full of plushie stuffing. I'm an organic being." And they say, okay. So they say, "Are you with me?" They say, "So you, a fully able-bodied Mandalorian." And he goes, "Yeah, I was captured and I was about to be made into plushie stuffing. Fully incapacitated. Bo-Katan rescued me. I had lost the Darksaber." And everybody's jaws were literally dropped for like 5 minutes. And the Mandalorian and Bo-Katan, even Axe Woves sat there while everybody just absorbed the information. And then he said, "Spectacularly rescued me using the Darksaber. Got me out of there and my child." And they said, "Okay, Bo-Katan came to your rescue." And he said, "Yes." And but he goes, "The Darksaber was taken from me, and Bo-Katan saved me and defeated the person who defeated me." Everybody goes, "Oh, okay. Now it's making more sense." Long sequence, though. Would this blade not belong to her in that case? And even Bo-Katan realizes, "You should have given me this like 2 episodes ago. You're right." And everyone says, and then Mandalorian says, would it not belong to her? Even Axe Woves has to say, you're right. Then they say, wait a second. Are you sure you're not full of stuffing? Plushy stuffing? It would. Even a couple of people stand at attention right away, realizing. So then he hands it over to Bo-Katan. I return this blade to its rightful owner. And Bo-Katan takes it and says, okay. Mandalorian nods, some wind in her hair, respect to some of the night owls. Mandalorian stands at her side. She extends the dark saber, and we do a kind of a slow zoom, and then it cuts to black, and then we see Bryce Dallas Howard directed this episode, and then we see the fish tank from the beginning. Jon Favreau wrote it. Then we see a extended shot of the main dome of the Dome City. Then we see a zoom in of a landing pad with Bo-Katan's ship at the Dome City and some tubes. Then we see the Imperial droids that look like R2 and C-3PO. Then we see the Dome City domes inside domes. Holy cow. I never even thought about that. That's asleep. Domes within domes. I think that was that one of the things that, it sounds like I just rewatched the Blade Runner, and I'm pretty sure he had to say that domes within domes, domes within domes. That's a deep cut joke, but it's at sunset. Then we see the what is it called? The extraction party. Lizzo's name. Then we see the camera room. And then we see the mechanical room where the droid repairs and buildings going on. Then we're at the loading docks. We see a bunch of battle droids lined up. Then we see the kind of city droid takedown, Mandalorian and Bo-Katan. Next, we're at the droid bar. Then we're at the room where droids dream of big farms in the sky. Then we're back in kind of the game room, the royal game room, I guess. Then the landing pad, the Mandalorian landing pads. There's actually one ship in orbit right now, and that's it. So that's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening, everybody. And talk to you again soon. Good night. All right. I want to thank everybody that became a patron recently. I want to thank Callie, Zyra, and Jillian. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Lauren, Sarah, and Grace. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Sarah, Ken, and Lou. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Anna, Trilly, and Sandra. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Arisa, Jerry, and Matt. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Anna, Patrick, and Zara. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Jennifer, Samantha, and DeJoel. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Galen, Chelsea, and June. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Melissa, Kayla, and Antonia. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Quim, Rafaela, and Dalton. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Carl, Ashley, and Noah. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. I want to thank Peter, Jess, and Nicole. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. And I want to thank Heather and Sarah. Thank you. Thanks, and good night, everybody. Couldn't do it without the people that support the show directly on Patreon or Apple Podcasts or support our sponsors. But you can also help the show for free by spreading the word. And thank you so much. Thanks and good night.